guys, welcome back to Cooking with Leah. Today we're going to be making Cajun shrimp and sausage pasta. I do want to give a quick shout out to Jay's mom for this cute little apron here. I love the color and I look real professional in my videos, so shout out to her. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. Alright guys, so here are all of our ingredients. I also forgot to mention that we will also be making some garlic bread to go with our pasta. So let's just go ahead and start chopping things up and getting things started. First, I just have my water in a pot here. I have it on high heat, getting that ready to start boiling for the pasta. And then I also have the oven preheated to 350 degrees. So then when we make our garlic bread, it's all ready to go in the oven. And guys, just a little disclaimer, I do not measure anything. I just do a lot of eyeballing with most of my herbs and my seasonings and stuff like that. So I'll do my best to give you guys the measurements on the screen. But for the parsley, I'm probably just going to take probably about that much off. Yep, probably use about that much. And then for the thyme, I'm just going to take a couple of sprigs. Yep, 2 of those are fine. And then we're just going to go ahead and wash the parsley and the thyme, rinse off our pepper, take about, like I said, 2 to 3 cloves of garlic out of here, peel our onion, and start chopping everything up. Alright guys, so here we have our freshly washed bell pepper, our half of a small onion, and then our 3 garlic cloves. I'm just going to start by chopping up the bell pepper. And guys, we're not going to use all of this bell pepper. I'm just chopping it all up. And again, a lot of these things are up to your discretion. If you like a lot of bell pepper, use a lot of bell pepper. If you like a lot of onion, use a lot of onion. If not, then use less. And I'm just going to crush the garlic cloves for now. I highly suggest if you use a lot of garlic to get a garlic press. Now we're just going to chop up the parsley. And that's all there is for that. We're just going to go ahead and add it to this plate right here. Okay, so I'm just going to take the shells off of these shrimp and set those aside. And then we're just going to take our andouille sausage and we're going to slice that up. And shout out to my dad for suggesting the andouille sausage for this recipe. And then I'm just going to take these sun-dried tomatoes. We're going to take those out. We're just going to chop those up. Shout out to my mother also because she told me to use some sun-dried tomato pesto, but they didn't have that, so I have the sun-dried tomatoes instead, but it's going to taste just as good. Our shrimp here with the shells off, I like to keep the tails on. If you don't like to keep the tails on, you can take them off. The next thing we're going to do is we're just going to slit the backs of the shrimp and take out the veins. And you don't have to buy the shrimp fresh, guys. You can buy frozen shrimp and just unthaw it. That's what I usually do, but I was in Wegmans over in the meat aisle and I saw the shrimp over there and I didn't want to buy a whole bag because I am just making a portion big enough just for myself. So just depending on how much you're making and if you want to do all this extra work or not. And now it's time to cut up our sausage. I think I'm just going to take about 2 sausages and slice those up. Alright, so we're just going to take our sausage like this and we're going to put it at an angle and we're just going to slice them just like this. The next thing for us to do is to take out some sun-dried tomatoes and we're just going to chop those up. I'm not going to take too much, probably just 4 of them. And don't think I forgot about our thyme. For the thyme, you don't need to take that off and chop it up. All you really need to do is go like this against the stem like that and it just comes right on off and I just throw it right into there. Now that we have all of our produce and we have all of our meat chopped up, the next thing to do is to take our bread. We're just going to slice it right down the side just like that. And in the meantime, while we're doing this, our water is boiling so we can go ahead and drop our noodles in. I did want to use linguine noodles for this meal, but at the store all they had was fettuccine, so I'll be using fettuccine today. You could also use penne pasta with this meal and it would be just as good. I'm just going to lay these on a baking sheet and we're going to get our garlic butter ready to go on the bread. So I just have a stick of unsalted butter right here. It's pretty soft but not as soft as I would like it. So I'm just going to nuke this in the microwave for about 15-20 seconds just to get it soft enough, and then we're going to show you what we're going to do next. Total seasoning. Shout out to my grandma for this. You can only get this, I think you can only get this at Restaurant Depot, but this is literally, this is key for anything. I put this in any and everything. So we're just going to take a half a teaspoon of this. We're going to take some Italian seasoning. We're going to take some salt, not so much. I'm just going to pour a little bit in here. And this is unsalted butter, so I'm going to put a little bit extra. That's probably about 1/4 of a teaspoon. I'm going to put a few dashes of red pepper in, and then we're going to put our parsley in here. I say this is about probably a tablespoon of parsley. So next we are going to take one of our cloves of garlic, and we're just going to squeeze that into there. Right? We're just going to go ahead and mix that up. Now, we're going to take our bread, slide it right back on over here. I'm just going to do half and half. Hit that on one side. Alright, and that's it for the garlic bread. So I'm just going to set this to the side, and we're going to get started on making our pasta. And once our pasta is almost done, we're going to put this in the oven for, I think, about 10 minutes, and then it should be good. While our pasta is boiling away over there, we are going to start with cooking our meat and our veggies and getting our sauce ready. I'm just going to put the stove on about medium-high heat. I'm just going to be using some olive oil. That's probably about almost a tablespoon. We're just going to let that get hot. And we're also going to take a tablespoon of butter. It looks like our noodles are done, so we're just going to take them out, drain them in a strainer, and we're just going to run some cold water on them so they stop boiling. Alright guys, so our olive oil and our butter are all heated up. I am going to season our shrimp here. I'm just going to take some pepper, put some Cajun seasoning on those. Then we're going to take a little bit of salt. First thing we are going to start cooking is our shrimp. And when they start to get pink and curl up, that's when you know you can flip them. Yep, and we can flip them. Alright guys, so I have just went ahead and flipped these shrimp. They're looking pretty good. They only need about a couple more seconds and they'll be done. Alright, and those are all good to go. So we're just going to take those out. Now to add our andouille sausage. I'm not adding any seasoning to these because they're already seasoned. From here, things are going to go pretty quickly. So I'm just going to put this to the side right here. I'm going to take our garlic bread that we have here and I'm going to put it in our preheated oven that is at 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. Or you can just keep on checking the oven to see where it's nice and golden brown on top. Alright, so now I'm just going to turn down the heat a little bit because after I take these off, I am going to put in the onions, bell peppers, the garlic, and our thyme, and then we're going to start building our sauce. Sauces are all done, so I'm just going to put this on the plate with the shrimp. And try to leave that extra oil from the sausage and shrimp in the pan as much as you can because that's going to add flavor to our veggies like I said. Alright, so now we're going to add our onions. We're going to take our garlic. And I'm also going to put our sun-dried tomatoes in there now. Just for a couple minutes until the onions start to get a little bit soft, and then we'll add our peppers and our thyme. We're just going to stir that all around. We're just going to wait for those peppers to get nice and soft. So to this, guys, I am going to add a little bit of salt. And I did go ahead and add some total seasoning and some pepper to that also. Now that the vegetables are pretty much cooked, I'm just going to go ahead and add my chicken stock in. Just enough to deglaze the bottom of the pan. We're just going to let that cook through for a minute. Alright, and once that's reduced a little bit, we're just going to go ahead and add in our heavy cream. Alright guys, I have just taken our garlic bread out. It is looking really good. I had it at 375 for probably about 10 more minutes after the 10 minutes that I had it in at 350. So you probably just want to preheat your oven to 375 and then just leave it in there for about 10 to 15 minutes. So we've got a little boil / simmer going on here. So now I'm just going to add a little bit more pepper, and like Tabitha Brown says, and that's my business. We're gonna add a little bit of salt, not too much. We're gonna add some Italian seasoning. We're going to add our Cajun seasoning. Give that a good mix. And then here I have some Italian style cheese, and then I also have this 4 cheese blend. I'm just gonna use a little bit of each in here until I get the desired thickness for my sauce. Mix that in. Now we're just gonna taste our sauce to make sure it's where we want it to be. Well, all I can say is I did that, that's for sure. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit on low medium heat, and now we're gonna add our noodles. Guys, as you can see, I have added our noodles into the sauce and incorporated everything well. Now it's just time to plate up our food and to chow down.
Alright guys, so since we are eating a pretty heavy carb meal with a lot of protein, a lot of fat, and a lot of carbs in it, I just want to make sure that I mention these 2 products right here. You want to make sure that when you are eating meals like these that you are taking care of your body also. I eat a lot of spicy stuff all the time, so it does upset my stomach sometimes, so I make sure I take digestive enzyme. Digestive enzyme does what it says on this bottle right here, supports normal digestion of carbs, protein, fat, and dairy. And then we have carb blocker here, especially when you're eating a pretty carb heavy meal like pasta. This blocks up to 500 calories per meal. So, I make sure that I take a digestive enzyme and a carb blocker before most of my meals, especially when I'm eating pasta. And I especially make sure that I'm taking a digestive enzyme before I am eating anything spicy. Just so my stomach is at ease and it just helps digest everything a lot easier. And who doesn't want to take out some extra calories? That means you can eat what you want and cut out the extra calories that are associated along with it. So I have the link in the description box down below on where you can get these products.
Alright guys, here we have it, our Cajun shrimp and sausage pasta with garlic bread. This looks phenomenal and I cannot wait to dig in. Alright guys, that is it for this video. Go ahead and comment down below if you do decide to try out this recipe. I would love to know how it turned out for you guys and how you guys liked it. And you can also tag me on Instagram in any photos that you post. And you can also DM me on my Instagram at CookingWithLiyah_ because I would love to know how it turned out for you guys. Make sure you also comment down below what type of videos you would like to see from me next. Go ahead and like this video, comment down below, and make sure you subscribe to my channel and put on your push notifications so you guys can get notified on when my videos are uploaded. Until next time on Cooking with Liyah, see you guys next week.